How's it going, boys? Hat-Trick Line back with another video. In today's one, we're going to be discussing real quick who I think the winners and the losers are of the day one first round draft. I'm actually just recording this audio right before the day two draft starts, so I'm going to try and do it real quickly. And I'm just going to go through real quick who I think they are, the winners and the losers. So I think first off, obviously, it's hard to not call the Rangers and the Devils winners. They got the two best players in the drafts. I mean, I know they had the 1 and 2 pick already, so it was guaranteed, but I think it's hard to understate how big Jack Hughes and Kaapo Kakko are going to be for their new respective franchises. Jack Hughes can be that number one center. Nico Hischier can drop down to the number 2, or he could stay as number 1. I think it's an absolute steal for the Devils. They get their franchise guy. If Hall's gone, then they'll still have offense in Hughes. And the New York Rangers are definitely not slouching with Kaapo Kakko either. He's going to be ready next year to go. He's going to be dominant for years to come. I think he's the next coming of like Peter Forsberg and Jaromir Jagr combined into one. He's an absolute man-child and a beast. And these guys were definitely winners going to their respected franchises, and their franchises are going to be happy they won these lotteries for years to come. Up next, I have my personal biggest winner of the day, and that is the Avalanche. Now, the Avs, when they got to the 4th overall pick, I had them taking a centerman, but with Byram, they decided not to take their organizational need, which is a centerman, and they did the smartest thing available, which was take the best player at that point, which was Bowen Byram, the best defenseman in the draft. And I think this was a great pick. I did not expect Chicago to take Kirby Dach. More on that in a second. At 3, so they got Bowen Byram at 4, and they also got their organizational need and Alex Newhook at 16th, who I said they were going to take at 16th in my mock draft. And this one absolutely makes sense. They still get their centerman who has a high, skill set and can play in the league. I think Newhook is definitely going to be a top 6 centerman in the league. And Bowen Byram, the best defenseman, you cannot argue the fact that he is the best defenseman in this draft. So for the Avs to get not only the best defenseman, but an organizational need in a centerman is absolutely great for them. I have them as a winner by a long shot. They are definitely my biggest winners of day one. Now, I have Chicago as a loser. They drafted Kirby Dach 3rd overall. This is nothing against the player itself. I actually like Kirby Dach. I think I'm higher on Kirby Dach than a lot of other people, but I think I'm with a lot of people when I say that we did not expect Kirby Dach to go 3rd overall. I thought he was going to be more in the 5th and 6th range. I think I had him going 5th to LA, maybe even 6th to Detroit. I would have seen him slip, but I did not expect them to take Kirby Dach. I almost could have guaranteed they were taking Alex Turcotte or Bowen Byram. I don't know if Kirby Dach has as high as a ceiling as either of those two players, which is the one thing that's concerning me. I just feel like Chicago threw us a curveball. I don't think many people expected it. I feel like Turcotte or Byram would have made more sense than Dach, but it's really tough to tell right now. This is nothing against them. I still think this could turn out to be a great pick, but right now I think almost just for shock factor alone, I have the Blackhawks being a loser. Next up, we have the Montreal Canadiens as a winner. They were able to get Cole Caulfield 15th overall, who is supposed to be a top 10 pick. He slipped down to 15. This is an absolute steal for the Canadiens. Cole Caulfield, one of the biggest goal scorers in U.S. development program history. The most goals of all time, more than anyone, Matthews, Clayton Keller, even Jack Hughes, Phil Kessel, Patrick Kane. So this is an absolute steal for Montreal. They're going to get a heck of a player. He's not the biggest kid, but I think he's going to be able to dominate within the next couple of years when he reaches the NHL. I think he's kind of the next coming of Alex DeBrincat. Maybe a bigger goal scorer than DeBrincat, not as many assists, but what a pickup for the Canadiens. What an absolute steal in Cole Caulfield at number 15. My next loser I have is the Arizona Coyotes. And the reason I have them here, and once again, not for the player, Victor Soderstrom, it makes sense at 11, but they traded up with Philly. They traded a second-round pick in the 14th to move up to 11 to acquire Victor Soderstrom. And I don't really understand this one too much because I feel like Victor Soderstrom would have been available at 14. Once again, I'm not a GM, so I don't know the inner workings of it. I don't know if they had intel that maybe he was going to go at 12 or 13 or even 11 to Philly, but this one didn't make a whole lot of sense to me at the time. I thought there was going to be maybe a player involved in the trade, and I don't know if maybe Philly was the one who initiated it, to move down because they didn't like what they had there, but I don't think this one makes sense to me. I think Victor Soderstrom would have been there at 14, and so for Arizona to lose a second round pick, in my mind, for pretty much nothing doesn't make a whole lot of sense, so they will come out as a loser for me. And my final winner on the day, I have the Vegas Golden Knights as a winner. Also, like Montreal, they got an absolute steal at 17 with Peyton Krebs. Vegas has gotten some really good first-round picks in their short time as a team. And Peyton Krebs, I think, is an absolute steal at 17. I had Vegas taking a defenseman because I feel like that is their organizational need for prospects, but they did the smart play, and when Peyton Krebs was available, who was supposed to be a top 10, right around 10 guy, they took him at 17. Peyton Krebs, unbelievable skill. I was really hoping that he dropped to Winnipeg because that would be absolutely awesome. He did play in the Winnipeg area in the WHL, so that would have been cool, but Vegas with an absolute nasty steal at 17 getting Peyton Krebs. I think this guy is a future top 6 winger or centerman, whatever the Vegas Golden Knights decide they want to play him at. If they can play center, then I'm sure he'll play center, but I think this was a steal for the Knights at 17. And that is my day 1 winners and losers, guys. I will definitely be recapping day 2. I've already seen that PK Subban and Patrick Marleau have both been traded off their respective teams, and the day 2 draft is just about to start for me, so I'm going to go ahead, tune into that, and I will have some videos for the trades that just happened and for the day 2 draft as well coming up, so stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.